Welcome to the K. Willis Positive Vibes Podcast. K. Willis Positive Vibes Talk Show on 1580thepraise.com, a Gold Chip communication station. And I have back Mr. Hooper. He is the North Central Area Commissioner of Brittany Hills and Vice President of Brittany Hills Civic Association. And last week we spoke about the history of Brittany Hills, and we're just going to continue to speak about that and the importance of the history in that area. So Brittany Hills, I'm going to give you guys a little history lesson on the area. Brittany Hills is a neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio, with a rich and varied history. Its origins trace back to the pre-Civil War era, when German settler Johannes Christian Hell operated a stop on the Underground Railroad along Alum Creek at 1891 Sunbury Road. His home still stands today, symbolizing the area's early commitment to freedom and refuge. In the early 20th century, the development of rail lines transformed the north central area, including Brittany Hills, into an industrial section of Columbus. This industrialization spurred residential growth, with housing initially built near the rail lines to accommodate workers. Over time, residential development expanded throughout the area. The neighborhood's evolution continued through the mid-20th century, with many well-kept homes dating back to the 1950s. Architectural styles in Brittany Hills include ranch-style homes, split levels, and Cape Cods with vinyl siding, reflecting the suburban development trends of that period. Today, Brittany Hills is recognized as a community nestled in nature, offering proximity to downtown Columbus and local businesses dedicated to giving back to their community. The neighborhood's rich history, from its early role in the Underground Railroad to its mid-century suburban development and recent challenges, contributes to its unique character within Columbus. And Mr. Hooper is a proud first-time homeowner over 50 years in the Brittany Hills community. And when Mr. Hooper first moved into the Brittany Hills community, they made that community so good. They wanted working families that made at least $4 an hour. Can you guys imagine that? $4 an hour. And you could own a home. And then they even, in the escrow, had where you put money aside for repairs. So Brittany Hills, and then we have a lot of historical things in Brittany Hills. We have the Valley Dale, which is over 100 years old. In this part of the history, there's so much history in the Brittany Hills area, and we would like to continue to keep that history. So there has been several developments that want to develop, have apartments in that community. However, it does not meet, as you guys heard me say, the Brittany Hills is from its early role in the Underground Railroad. So when it's the Underground Railroad, there was homes that people was going to the bottom of. They wasn't going to the bottom of apartment buildings. Some bury its historical road. So when we go in and put an apartment building in that area, it's taking away all of the history, all of the things that people have worked hard for. People that are homeowners, people that, that was with the Underground Railroad, they worked hard for that area to be where it's at. And we want to continue to keep the tradition and the history. And it's a lot of, we talked about generational wealth on the previous episode. And we want to keep that generational wealth in that area by building homes. And we are not opposed to building if it's going to be a house. If it's going to be more single-family homes, because that's what that neighborhood is designed for. It's not designed for apartment buildings. And we know that there is a home shortage in the city of Columbus. However, there are some abandoned apartment buildings in the city of Columbus. So if it was previously apartment buildings over there and it's currently abandoned, then maybe they can demolish those apartment buildings and put the new apartment buildings over there. I think that might make sense. Instead of being an eyesore, let's tear down the eyesores then, so people won't be vandalizing it and making it an unsafe part of their community and drugs. And let's tear those vandalized buildings down and put the apartment buildings and on top of that, versus going into a community that is a single home community and also a desert for, we don't even have a grocery store. You have to go all the way to Easton to go to the grocery store. Mm-hmm. So we already don't have a grocery store. We don't have a pharmacy. Nope. You have to go all the way to, you go Stelzer. You go to Giant Eagle, but you have to have a car.
Yeah.
Okay, to get to that. So you're going to put a apartment building in that area, but where are these people in apartment building going? They have nowhere to even go to get to get a food, the groceries, to get their resources. They have nowhere to go. So it's not helping them out. But if you have a single family home, a lot of people, they have vehicles. That helps them out more. So we're going to go into that and the history. We want to keep the history of the Brittany Hills area. In your role as the North Central Area Commissioner, what specific challenges have you observed with multi-family apartment developments in similar communities?
Which one are we on now?
Question 3.
3. In your role as North Central Area Commissioner, with specific challenges you observe with the multi-family apartment developments in similar communities. Number 3. The most important challenge in keeping up the code and holding the developer responsible for its residents. Several of the problem apartments had to be torn down and replaced with single-family housing, such as Lytton Gardens senior housing apartments with 500 units. It became rundown, crime-infected, Agler Green. Torn down homes replaced with single-family homes because of being drug-infested and stuff, and just not the management not being accountable. See, revolving doors don't stay as long in a neighborhood than single-family homes, and for some reason the city is not visualizing that. I know we need housing for people, and it's important. And my goal and objective is to make them put that same footprint they had for us when we visited the homes with my $4 an hour budget. How come we can't put that footprint back in force? It would be very affordable. The federal government, the state, the county, all could partnership and put this footprint of home ownership back in form, for we can reduce the housing crisis. The federal government could really do this in a grant form and say, okay, now we could put a big dent in this housing crisis because we're going to partnership all this federal money, state money, and county monies, and bring this to the forefront to put this footprint back to cause people for people can get affordable housing like I had the opportunity to get with my family budget. And I think that would be a good resource to put a real good dent, and we wouldn't have to have apartments that turn into what you call just infested projects. Mm-hmm. Because I'm telling you, the developer does not keep them up. And we had to tear down several areas all around Columbus, not only in Brittany Hills. We had 3 apartments complex tore down because of it's not important to keep them up. Mm-hmm. They just want 200 times their rent. That's the bottom line. And we don't have to. The city is telling us we don't have to keep them up. They don't mandate them to keep them up. We had to tear down all of our apartment complexes. And now they want to put up a 4-story monster building on our historical Summer Road. It's almost want to make me cry as a grown man, mm-hmm. to mess up that historical Sunbury Road. It's historical. It has historical value, and we shouldn't do that. History is very important to our city of Columbus, and we should keep it, much of it as we can. And I'm hoping that the resources hear me, I'm hoping that the city councilmen hear me. I'm hoping that the state reps hear me. I'm hoping that the mayors and the government hear me.
Yes.
Let's nurture families. When we nurture families, we don't have problems. We don't have problems at all. Because you teach them to be very, very studious people that want to be important people to raise families. And I think that's what we should visualize. And if we visualize that, we'll be fine. But I just can't see it happening. We just want to throw up a 5-story, 4-story building, 3 and 4 apartments, like you say. We ain't got no stores for them to go to. Where's them kids, 3 and 4 kids, and with no schools? We ain't got no schools in the area that can handle that type of 200 apartments. Where they gonna go to school at? How they gonna catch the bus on 2-lane Sunbury Road? That's a very fast road.
That is a very fast road with all the nature we have over there.
45 miles an hour, 2 lanes. And see, if the Valley Dale is doing something, if ODU is doing something, and the Gateway to Eastern, it's going to be jammed up. You're going to be a freeway standstill coming up Sunbury Road. See, we got 10 gated communities coming from East 5th Avenue and Sunbury to Morris Road. We got 10 to 20 gated communities, including Brittany Hills. If ODU is having a football game and the Valley Dale is having a wedding, we stuck in our neighborhood. Traffic can't move.
Traffic can't move. And that's the only entrance to a lot of the homes in the neighborhood is Sunbury Road.
That's it.
So how do you get home when it's traffic coming from the buses or to get the kids on and off the bus? That's dangerous. The Sunbury Road is a high traffic road. And then as you mentioned, I mean, Ohio Dominican, they had to put the crosswalk over there.
And the
because
lights.
That's how the traffic is and the speed. So if they had to put the light right there just so people can stop. People wasn't stopping for the students.
They wasn't.
So they're not stopping for the students. They're not about to stop for the kids at the apartment.
No.
Unfortunately, that is reality. And then, like I said, if there's an event at what the Valley Dale is supposed to do, close down their business and stop their events that is a congestion. That's too congested. And that is not wisdom. So we have to use wisdom. And there are properties in Columbus that they don't have to mess up the history. They don't have to do that. They can actually, we mentioned, the abandoned apartments that were up and were drug infested and everything, because all thing they have to do is just put it up. They don't have to keep it up. So it's a lot that goes in with keeping it up.
Right.
It's a lot that goes in, and it's a revolving door. So someone might say, you can use my name, but they might have XYZ who can't even get an apartment, live in their apartment, have so many people live in their apartment. The safety of the community is going to, increase. You don't know who, because anybody could stay there and an inspection come. They could tell them, go leave.
Yep.
The inspector come in, go leave. And then now it's a community where people have to watch out because those people aren't going to care. They don't care when they're not invested. And they don't know the history.
And they don't know the history.
So that's why we want to preserve this area. We want, like you said, the mayors. We want the governor. We want everyone to preserve this history. And when you drive into the community, it says talks about Brittany Hills and about it being in the Underground Railroad. Yes, so it shows right there about the history of the Underground Railroad. And once again, the Underground Railroad were homes. They weren't apartment buildings. They were homes. And we are not against the crisis in the community. No, we're not. What we're saying is there are other places that you can put this up that already had that space.
That space.
And if it's abandoned, why do we want to keep on looking at abandoned buildings anyways?
Right.
So the city should say, hey, that's right. It's an abandoned building. Tear that down. Put something on it. Let's beautify this area. Versus just going in a community that already has single homes and just making it more congested for that area. Because imagine Well, we only want, I mean, but that is a lot. And the Valley Dale has their own events. They have weddings there. They have people booked all the way up. It's historical. So that is going to stop their traffic and their business. And we want to keep the history in that area.
And the safety is a very important a reason. And even the the emergency people couldn't get to us on the Little Sunbury Road. If the Valley Dale's having something, they having a football game. Well, if you had a tragic situation, you can't get up Sunbury Road. If you put that apartment like there, people's going to die. The emergency services can't get to them. Just imagine the Valley Dale having the ODU having a football game, Valley Dale having a wedding.
Right.
And you can't get up Sunbury Road, so emergency service, that put us in a critical situation.
Yes.
You're going to do something to Sunbury Road. And then if you make a turn lane there to get in this 200 apartment complex, it's going to stop like you're on the freeway.
Right.
And you ain't going to be able to get in. Then if somebody have an emergency, we stuck. We stuck like on the freeway. And why would you want that in a gated single-family homes neighborhood when it don't have to be? And it's the thoroughfare to Easton.
Yes.
People use that shortcut to get to Easton, and it's going to be real critical. And I just want them to revisit the safety of traffic, even ODU partnership with us to tell the developer, this is not a good idea. Even at that red light down there, when you come past ODU, they say they've had people to get hit almost because they don't even want to stop at the red light.
And it's still a red light, right? They don't want to stop
at
the red light. The flashing, and it has instructions when it flash. But people they don't see that. Nope. They don't. What they see is gas. Go.
Yes, go.
They see go. That's all they see. But you mentioned a great thing about the emergency. So if you have an apartment building that high up with that many units, guess what? There will be emergencies because someone might be cooking. Yep. They might catch something on fire. Then how is the ambulance and the fire truck gonna get there? Let's talk about that.
Two lanes on the road.
Yes. So we're just gonna build up something, but we're not even gonna talk about the resident safety. Yep. And if someone has a heart attack, this is life stuff they do. Or somebody jump out jump out the window. We don't know what these people, and we're not speaking it, but these are just scenarios that you have to, have a concept of. You have to say, okay, well, this might happen. Yeah. Just like every day in life. What happens if you go the wrong way or the right way? It's the same thing. So we have to think the same. And the developers have to be considering that too, and how much of a tragic that would be if an emergency cannot get to them because of the traffic.
And we've talked to the developer. They've met with us 3 times. We told them about all these issues. We had almost a confrontation in Valley Dale.
Oh, yes. I was
there. Because the developer just came out and told us.
He not putting down. He said,
I'm not going to throw my designs away.
Yep.
And I don't care how Brittany Hill feels. And that's a bad neighborhood.
That is really
The city said you got a housing crisis. We don't have to listen to y'all homeowners of Brittany. I thought that was very insensitive.
That was very yes.
That was very, very bad. And I think this developer and the attitude that they have, the city said you need housing and we don't care what type we put up. And I think that attitude was very, very bad.
It was very unprofessional.
And very unprofessional. Yes. And that's the attitude that we got to stop. Come on, we got a partnership with the neighborhood. Our neighbors paid a lot for their houses. They've improved them a lot. And we got a wonderful neighborhood. I'm very proud of it. I wouldn't want to live nowhere else. And I'm just saying, it's just development apartments just don't work. They just ain't got no invested commitment.
Long-term investment. No. They don't have it.
And it's just a money grab, just for developers to make millions of dollars and go to the next victim of a neighborhood. And go to the
next one. And they live in their $1 million home. Yeah. And they don't have a gated community. They don't have that apartment next to their community.
That's what I asked the developer. I guess that's what he got mad about. Do you have this in your gated community?
And they don't.
Down in Tennessee, do you have this type of development? He couldn't answer that because I think that's what he got frustrated about because our neighbors was asking him a lot of questions.
Yes. And we should. we have the same right as they do as homeowners.
That's
that
right.
does not take away my right, because my house is $200,000 and your house is $2 million. I own mine and you own yours.
Same thing.
So it's the same thing. So the same situations and challenges you have and you want in your community, guess what? We have those same rights as well. And we want to keep that community a historical community, a single home community.
That's right.
Yes, and as you mentioned in the last episode, you were your first generation homeowners.
Yes.
Now your kids have homes. But guess what? Like you said, the generation, your parents couldn't even get a home.
Right.
It was a lot. It was, so now that you have a home, and the same thing, like I said, my mom had a home, and she instilled in us, you better get you a house. Don't put all your money every month out on the rent. And then a lot of times when you pay the rent, it can go up. They can kick you out.
Right.
I just had, my friend actually just sent me a message. God bless her. Her apartment complex got bought by someone else. They giving her 30 days. So, yes, she just texted me on Monday, said, you know what? I got 30 days. They just got. So this is the challenges that we have. But when you have home ownership,
Can't do that.
it's fixed. You have fixed.
It's fixed.
It's fixed. And then once you pay it off, all thing you have to do is just pay your taxes.
That's it.
And that's way cheaper than apartments. With apartments, $1,500, $2,000. I don't even know how people are paying. By the grace of God, we're in the position we are. By the grace of, but we want more people in that position. We just don't want it just to be, oh, it's us. Oh, we're not going to worry about them. We want more people in that position. So that's why we want more single homes. If you're going to build in our neighborhood, please put more single homes in our neighborhood.
Please put more single
because we need more people that when they wake up, they don't get a message saying you got 30 days to get out. Come on now. We want people in the homes for 30 years. We want 15-year mortgage.
Committed.
30 years.
Committed
people.
Right.
Yes, in that neighborhood to raise their family. And like how you said, the community had where they did the events and graduations and taught people how to swim. Was teaching the kids how to swim.
Took them to YMCA. Took them to SeaWorld. That building raised our community. 2618 Bethesda. That center, that community center raised our whole community. All that development went through that building on a regular basis, 12 months a year. They taught our kids after school programs. They taught them everything. If we didn't have resources, buses would come and take us to Ohio State, took our kids to all the resources because we, as civic associations in North Central, we organized that. And the most wonderful thing I loved, it was the place where we went to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Black people going to their black center to vote. Something that our forefathers wasn't allowed to do.
Wasn't allowed to do. And we're not that far.
That's history. See that history?
Yes.
Something that our forefathers down in our southern states wasn't allowed to do for a lot of years. And we got to realize this history is very, very, that building has a lot of family important history. It made a lot of our kids very strong. A lot of kids got wonderful jobs from that building because it prepared them to go out and get jobs because they went to colleges. And I know my son even got a scholarship where OSU send him to computer school from going down there taking courses at our neighborhood center. St. Stephen's would come and get our kids to take them to St. Stephen's. That building was a resource that reached out all over Columbus. And we want to please keep it there. Somebody out here hear me.
Yes.
Please keep that center there for the health and well-being of our Brittany Hills community. We need your help. We need your help. If any politician, any councilman, come to talk to me, come to walk our neighborhood. Let's walk it. Let's walk it. And I know some of your councilmen know about the Valley Dale. I know y'all know about the lovely Sunbury Road. We even had a mayor Coleman.
Okay.
Mayor B. Coleman was on top of a railroad, underground railroad house that was I meant to bring the picture, that was being tore down up under him to try to save history. And we're going to have an underground railroad dedication where they're going to put an Underground Railroad museum in our neighborhood.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's edged down about near the library, and we're talking about that now. And I would love to see that picture in us Oprah of Mary Coleman on top of this Underground Railroad house, keeping the bulldozer from tearing down Black history.
Wow.
And that's right up Sunbury Road, too. And it was owned by an insurance company that they eventually tore it down.
Was that the one by Kroger?
No.
Was it not too far?
This was up Sunbury Road about 3 or 4 miles, and it was an insurance building.
Okay.
And he was trying to see, we got several Underground Railroad houses.
Yes, several on Sunbury Road.
Right.
The Margaret Agler house.
And,
yes.
Yeah, and I think it might have been Margaret Agler house, but the insurance company basically tore it down.
Wow.
And they had to almost restrain him to get off the roof to have it tore down, that Black history. And now, I was so proud to hear that Parks and Recs is going to make a Underground Railroad museum playground like somewhere in the area of our library there on East 5th.
Wow.
So we are in meetings about that now.
Wow.
And I want to make sure that Black history is there to see when people come from all around, because ODU already put a marker for the Underground Railroad.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it was very important to me. I went to President Symbolic over at ODU, and that's when they cut the ribbon for our bike trail. I don't know whether you've been.
Oh, yes.
Have you been on the walk trail?
I have, but I do not want to go there alone. So I have to go there with someone. I'll walk there.
But anyway, and when they was cutting that ribbon, I said, this ain't just like a walk trail or a bike trail to me. This is Blood River. This is where the slaves ran away to freedom.
Yes.
So I went to talk to the president, and I said, I need to see you because we need to put some type of identification for the Underground Railroad on this underground bike trail.
Oh, wow.
He said, well, what's the Underground Railroad, Mr. Hooper? I didn't know y'all had a transit system in Columbus. I said, oh, no, sir, it ain't like that. It's the Underground Railroad where Harriet Tubman gathered the slaves. Gathered the slaves to run from in bondage on the slaves.
Yes.
And he said, what? He said, I feel so embarrassed. I did not know. He was the president. He said, I didn't know the Underground Railroad was a slave a way to get away from slavery. He said, I'll tell you what. He said, I'm so embarrassed. I didn't know what the Underground Railroad was. He said, but I'll tell you, ODU is all invested in putting up this marker. So when you come off of Airport Drive, you see that big, wonderful marker explaining what the Underground Railroad was about. And he did that just like this. He was so embarrassed about knowing what the Underground... Now, see how he is now. He was an older man, and he hadn't heard nothing about the Underground Railroad.
Now, that's why we need to keep that history.
Now, see what history can just disappear? And he said he thought it was the Underground Railroad transit thing.
For transit.
Like New York.
Like New York. like okay.
And he said, I am so...
Like Coda.
He said, I am so embarrassed.
Coda.
And he had historians trying to get this history did back 20 years ago before I went before him. But he kept his promise. You see me by this statue right now. They got a statue right off of Airport Drive. When you come onto the bike trail, and all our students see it going up and down
that marker.
And it tells tells about the Underground Railroad, Harriet Tubman, and how she took the slaves up that Allen Creek.
And that's why we need this. So how can we reach you? What's your contact information, Mr. Hooper? My
contact information is 2517 Bethesda Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, 43219. Like I say, my phone number is 614-252-2270.
And we're going to keep this... You guys, make sure you guys contact Mr. Hooper. We're also, once again, as he mentioned, the mayor, whoever, nonprofit organizations.
Yes,
if there are nonprofit organizations that want to keep the history with the Underground Railroad in the Brittany Hills community, guess what? We need you. Now, if you want to be a sponsor of the show, you can email me at kwillis.positivevibestalkshow@gmail.com. And this is K Willis with the K Willis Positive Vibes Talk Show on 1580thepraise.com, a Gold Chip communication station. Please like, share, and subscribe to the K Willis Positive Vibes podcast. Thank you for tuning in to the K Willis Positive Vibes podcast. Please order my book, The Principles of Overcoming Life's Obstacles, a 31-day journey to positive living, available on Amazon.com. Until next time, stay positive.